surprisingly, the parts department had the rack. So here it is. I'm going to show you guys a part number of the rack that goes in this. Mind you, this is a 2011 Ford Fusion 2.5 liter front wheel drive. There's the rack. Now I'll take and show you step one, what I did. Step one, I pulled the steering bolt out, and now I'm actually going to pull that shaft up into the upper collar and tape it there, because you don't want it sliding out. It'll be a pain in the ass putting it back in. It is, I have it taped up. Now some guys will throw, oh mind you, pull the negative cable off the battery while you're here as well. Some guys will actually take a piece of electrical tape and they'll run it around the steering wheel, around this, and they'll pull back on this and they'll let that hold it a little bit, you know, so the steering wheel doesn't turn. You don't want this steering wheel to turn left or right, because it can mess up the clock spring if you don't get it back in the same spot. I've done this so many times, I'm actually not going to tape it up because I know I'm not going to be fooling around with that. And my weight down there is hanging down in the center point, and this here, even if I move it, it moves back to center anyway. And I'm not going to have anybody fooling around in here, so that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to go ahead and put the vehicle up in the air and get the tires off of it now. So I've actually got a kit. It's a 5-piece socket from, I don't know if it's DTA or ATA, but it's half sockets. Basically 19, 19 and a half, 20, 20 and a half, 21, 21 and a half, 22, 18 and a half. Actually, not 21. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's 19 and 21 on one socket, 21 and 21 and a half on another socket, 22 and 22 and a half on another, and then 18 and a half and 19 and a half on another socket. But I got this kit off Amazon. It's almost identical to the expensive kit on the tool truck, and I think I only paid like 35 bucks for it. So I'm going to try these, because these lugs are trash and they are a pain in the butt to get off of here. So let's try and get them off. Okay, worked the cotter pin out and then used a 17mm socket and started buzzing the tie rod end nut back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I got it off. Now I'm going to knock this right here and drop that out of there. There it goes. Now I'm going to go do the same thing on the other side. Remember, before you pull this tie rod out of that knuckle, I didn't say it on the other side, go ahead and break this inner nut loose. It'll help you when you go to get everything, when you go to pull that new tie rod end off and go to put it on the tie rod end. It's sticking onto this thing here. Two hands. Damn, man. Whew. Had to beat the living hell out of that to get it out of there. Alright, now that's all loose. Knuckle and everything is free. So let's figure out how we get that rack out of there now. So according to the workshop manual, you gotta literally drop this whole subframe out of here. And I don't want to mess with these ball joints and stuff in this knuckle down here. So what I did, be cautious. This is how I'm doing it, because the recall didn't give me all the parts I needed to do it the way the workshop manual said. So I'm going to work within my parameters to make the recall parts work. Now look, I loosened the front subframe bolt nut all the way to the end. Be very careful. Loosened both of them all the way to the end. I pulled the back 21mm nuts and supporting bracket off, and I'm just letting this hang right here. I just hang in the back of it. Hang in the back of it. It's gonna need 2 new sway bar links because these things were so rotten they would not come out of the hole. So I'll need 2 new sway bar links. They were popping already, so I won't charge the lady no labor for that as long as she paid for it. Just give me the parts. So again, both sway bar links at the top undone, all the plastic unhooked from where it mounts to the subframe. Let the back of it hang. Reach up inside here, unplug your connectors. Go. All your connectors go right there. Unplug your connectors, pull them out of the way, and now start pulling your bolts for, see right there, there's main bolts that go in there for that steering rack. It's gonna be a bear to get them out, but you can get them out. I had to add one more thing to it. I had to pull the fork bolt out of the strut so I can get a little bit more room out of it. See how much room I have in here now? So I'm gonna try to work with that. So I'm gonna take and throw this phone back on the charger, but you can see how I'm working this out of here. I've got the subframe pulled down real far. I mean, and then I had to twist it. So I had to twist the part that goes up through the firewall, the steering collar. I had to twist it forward, slide it this way, twist it some more, slide it past these brake lines and stuff right here without ruining them, and then twist it until it all came out of the hole. So now I'll go through and I'll clean up all the spots where it mounts, and then I'll stick the new one in. Well, in a nutshell, I'm back together. I got my nuts back on the outer tie rod ends. I counted how many turns it was to take off the old one over there in the box, and I put it on each side accordingly. I got my back bolts and nuts in and torqued down. I got my front bolts in, nuts torqued down for the subframe. See what else? I got the rack bolts that hold the rack down, these inside here. The mounting bolts, I got all my connectors and stuff plugged back in. The short of it is, I got it done fairly quick and very efficient. You know, total, because I've done this so many times, it probably took me a good solid hour and 10 minutes to do it this way. If you take these bottom bolts loose on your strut, the bottom one here, you may find that you don't even need to pull those front nuts off of the cradle entirely. Some people don't like to do that. I went ahead and did it so I can have the freedom of moving things around, but just dropping the back subframe 21mm and the 215s that go next to it, and then pulling this down, your bottom bolt out of your lower knuckle here in your strut, you may find that you got plenty of room to go ahead and drop all that down and get it out of there. But this video is a wrap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the car and I'm going to go through the programming process. It's going to be through IDS. I'm going to programmable module install this, and then I may have to learn a IVD sequence, which is your sequence for your steering wheel position. So that's it. That's the gist of it. I hope this helps somewhat. If you have any questions, please let me know. And that's all there is to it.